This past year, I've gotten the opportunity to do a lot of design work for some content creators. Specifically...
Seriously, Pablo, lay off the IPAs.
I am sitting here with 3 plungers attached to my head.
St. Brown. I did a raw for all of his receptions over the last 8 weeks.
My point being, I've done a lot of Googling specific players and coaches of sports franchises across the globe this year, and one thing that I've noticed is the sheer amount of downright horrible logos that athletes will create or have. So I just wanted to take a few minutes today and point out some of these horrible logos, mostly so I can share the pain of what they caused me with you, the viewer, because I think it's important to point out that just because you can draw your own logo or you can come up with a brand, doesn't mean you can do it without the aid of professionals. That being said, I'm 100% inclined to believe that at least one of these logos was drawn out in a caviar napkin the night these players got signed to their professional contracts. So without further ado, let's take a look at our first design. Some context, this video was made in 2022, which was the season of,
Wilson to the end zone, and it's intercepted! Well, Fowler's picked off at the 4-yard line.
So I don't want to dogpile onto Russell Wilson, and this isn't the worst logo on the list by any means. But, I mean, I just look at this and I see P underscore. This is the logo for Russell Wilson's 3 brand, playing off the number that he's worn for the entirety of his career, both with the Broncos and the Seahawks, but come on, it doesn't read like a brand logo. It looks like someone with attention deficit disorder wanted to draw the starter brand logo and got distracted halfway through. I understand that it's an R and a 3 for Russell, but they don't exactly form together in the easiest way. There's plenty of other concepts you can come up with that would look so much better. I'm going to take a crack at that myself, because talk is one thing, but I want to put my money where my mouth is. So let's fix Russell Wilson's 3 brand logo. It's a W for Wilson, and it's a 3. Which is kinda like the original, but shut up! It looks like fangs or teeth, which is a subtle reference to,
Here comes the airplane!
Additionally, it's a football going through the uprights. Like most of Russell Wilson's touchdown passes this year. Moving on to the next logo that— Dear God, what is that? Meet Melvin Gordon. He's currently on the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad after he was released from the Denver Broncos for, well, this.
Out, Deshaun Hamilton in motion, and they find Gordon trying to get him a flat. He coughed the football up. Loose ball.
Had 1,000 yards one season with, oh, it's fumbled. 10. Flea flicker, bad toss by Gordon. It's picked up by Kansas City. Look at this run. He fumbled. He fumbled.
Oh, Gordon lost it.
Gordon
Could not have been, and lost the ball.
They run it with Gordon, pushing ahead, ball is out.
Oh, he fumbled again!
He got released well over a month ago at the time of this recording, but his website still touts him as a Bronco, complete with integrated links to his Instagram with photos of him as a Bronco that no longer exist, and a link to buy his jersey, which links you back to the same page, except it's not exactly the same page, because when you click on it again, it takes you to the actual page where you can buy his Broncos jersey. Just kidding, that link's broken too. It goes to nothing. I guess we should double back and take a look at this horrible logo of his. We have the G in the middle. Okay, simple enough. And the M over it. Makes sense. And a bunch of other things that make the design look overcrowded, like these 3 diamonds, because I'm guessing he's Melvin Gordon III. But what the hell is everything else? What's the point of any of this other junk? Weird. Just weird. Either way, here's the 2 options that I came up with. One is obviously playing off of his initials, while the other is just a simple MLVN design, playing off his first name, as Gordon isn't exactly the most uncommon name in sports circles. Either way, Melvin, your logo sucks. Hire a professional because I want to peel my eyes out.
The 401st consecutive sellout for a Bronco home game. And backpedaling to the end zone, getting rid of it. Off the hit and picking up a man in stride. It's SmithSchuster. SmithSchuster inside the 30. Stiff arm, and he's going to go 97 yards for the touchdown.
Juju SmithSchuster, playing the first 5 years of his career in Pittsburgh as a Steeler, and most recent of which in Kansas City as a member of the Beat the Broncos 15 times in a row team. Wait, do I mean 14? I don't know, might as well round up. His website is covered with his signature, which is fair because he's an athlete, and one of the most tangible things people can own of you if you're an athlete is your signature. Yeah, good thing it's not his signature. For some reason, Juju or his team just chose to use this random script typeface with just enough differences in the text to make it read Jutu, which sounds more like a rejected anti-Semitic Pokemon than anything you'd see on an NFL circle. The obvious fix would be to use his signature and not this weird script art that makes it look like it would fit on a single mother's Etsy candle store, or just shorten it to his nickname. Side note, did you know Juju is his nickname? I didn't know until like 2 years ago when Al Michaels mentioned it in a Sunday Night Football game. Yeah, his real name is John Sherman. It's a good call to go by Juju because John Sherman SmithSchuster is a hell of a mouthful. Anyway, a few honorable mentions. First, going to Jason Kelsey's Underdog clothing brand he launched this year. All profits are going to charity, so I can't drag him on that. But the logo was designed by Bruno Guerrero, who's a great artist from Philly. And the logo obviously references Chris Long's iconic rubber German Shepherd mask. But dear God, this thing looks like it's coked into oblivion. I like Bruno as an artist. He's done a lot of cool things. His Instagram is linked below if you so care to see it, but not the move. This thing's zonked out of its mind. Okay, gonna pick on the other Kelsey brother. Travis Kelsey. He calls his brand True Colors, which, as I'm voicing this, I'm realizing that it's Colors with a K and not a C because then it wouldn't be his initials. God, that's dumb. I had to actually do some digging to find a logo of sorts, mostly because the branding on his website looks like they looked at the front of a Kohl's and IKEA and said, yeah, that, but worse. Eventually I did find it and yeah, still dumb. When looking at his clothing, I thought, hey, that looks a lot like Teddy Fresh's designs. And then I saw the TK logo and thought, yup, it's basically the same thing. Teddy Fresh coming years before this brand, mind you, so instead of a redesign, I'm gonna just hit you with a DMCA and a cease and desist. Anyway, without further ado, I'll pass the final entry off to 5PointsVids. He's a very cool, kind-hearted content creator I've got to know over the past year. He's a YouTuber, a baseball guy, and he's bald and other stuff.
When it comes to athlete-owned brands, there's none less memorable than Drew Brees' 9 brand. Yes, on August 24th, 2012, Drew Brees announced he and his wife Brittany would be launching a clothing line creatively titled 9. I guess playing a sport where you get decked in the head every few minutes doesn't exactly lend itself to creativity. Anyway, when the brand launched on September 9th, the brand's first project and logo were released. At first glance, I thought this was the measuring tape they used to tell you how fat you are when you've been fitted for a suit, but I guess it's supposed to be a 9 or something. I don't know, it's just stupid. One of the first projects the brand launched was a benefit for the victims of Hurricane Irwin, which seems like a noble cause at first, but it was later found out that 91% of the net sales were allotted to Brees, and the Brees Foundation with only 9% going to charity benefiting the victims of Hurricane Irwin. Apparently, Drew Brees walked so Brett Favre could run. If that wasn't sketchy enough, the shirt that they were selling looked like this. I think I remember my kid making something like this in Microsoft Office back in middle school. And if the logo, the design for the shirt, and the scammy feeling profit split weren't bad enough, the brand just kinda stopped existing after that. To this day, their website isn't just inactive, it straight up doesn't exist. A domain name can expire, but all the social media and articles that the brand pointed to also disappeared, meaning they were manually taken down. In fact, not a single article or press release has come out since the launch of the product, making it officially dead. And maybe that's good. It might save the world from having to see another shirt that looks like it was made in kid pics. Let's just hope Brees stick to what he does best: copper fit commercials and fake getting struck by lightning. I'm 5PointsVids, and Nick didn't tell me how to end my segment.
So I guess, what conclusion can we draw from all this? Simply put, I think there's an easy way to go about branding yourself, and that's with a professional's help. There are people who know how other people will react to whatever you put out in the world, and those are the people you should have on your side when you're, well, putting something out into the world. There's a reason there's a huge job demand for people like market analysts and digital media producers, because they know how people will react to certain things, and they know how to best go about creating the best situation for your content. And weirdly enough, I think one of the best case scenarios for this is actually seen by Antonio Brown. He obviously has a bunch of yes men around him, but someone around him obviously knows how to do branding, because he doesn't have a brand surrounding him. There is no Antonio Brown or AB84 website. There's simply a collection of shirts and other items you can buy that, might have his brand or name on it, but he doesn't have any centralized company behind it. That might be the best way to go, because then you're not trying to create something that's larger than you, or something that will exceed you. You're simply putting your projects out for the world to digest and consume in a way they deem fit. Who would have thought we would have ended the video with Antonio Brown being a good example of anything? I'm gonna go wash my mouth out with soap.